Hello everyone, and welcome to another of our Trader Talks videos with myself, Richard Perry, market analyst at Handtech Markets, and also Steve Miley. As ever, if you're not trading with Handtech, you can go to our website, hmarkets.com, to sign up for a free demo account, but also you can just join our trading accounts very quickly in 4 easy steps. Now, Steve, we're still looking at how the dollar is moving, and that is a key theme through this week.
Yeah, sure. So good to be on the call again with you in here, Richard. So yeah, I mean, the dollar weakness has been the standout really this week, even though we just had the S&P 500 hit an all-time intraday and closing high on Tuesday. You know, the dollar weakness this week and from the end of last week has really been the standout in here. And I know we've got the US dollar index chart. You know, you had those kind of consolidation periods and these explosive moves lower, impulsive moves lower that you've highlighted here in the chart. We've broken down through previously support at 94, then became resistance, and now we've just broken out again to the downside. And you know, we were talking earlier, but what do you think the downside target there for dollar index is? So,
well, I mean, if you look, you take these consolidation rectangles, you project them down, but as you said, that projection to the downside is not the limit of that downside move. You've got 91 big figure, I think, is the initial downside target. I can't see that the dollar is going to stop there. You've seen throughout the time since March that the treasury yields have been falling, you've yield curve flattening, and it seems that every opportunity the market gets to sell dollar into strength, it takes it. And I think the downside projection could well hit the 89.90 level on dollar index. Now that plays quite well into the chart themes that we've got today. You're looking at cable, I know.
Yeah, so starting off with pound dollar in here, cable. So we had this pop to the upside in the last 24 hours, Tuesday through into Wednesday. Took out not only the previous August peaks, but we've got that March peak at 132, and then also the peaks just above 132 that we saw from earlier in this year, from before March, very early in January. So we've gone to new highs for the year for 2020. For me, we've again been in that consolidation range in here. There's definitely upside in here. I mean, I think back up to the peak from 2019, that peak at 135.15, that's a real target. Ahead of there's a minor target at 132, around 132.85 level. Any dips for me are to be bought. I mean, it's quite simple for me in here on the technicals. We held the trend line support. I think even a mild dip back towards like 131.5 is a buy for me. RSI, we're getting non-confirmation, we're getting divergence, a little bit of a concern, but we're going to give that room to play out, right? And so upside threats very much intact there, mostly about dollar weakness. And I think what's notable is the pound is doing this in the face of the fact that we've got these talks with the EU restarting, and the fact that those talks are restarting, you know, could be a hindrance, and the market should be a bit worried about those.
I think the market is gone very much sterling positive at the moment. I'm a little bit concerned about that. I've always been rather reticent to be chasing sterling too far high, given the fact that we've got these trade talks with the EU that are overhanging throughout the rest of this year, and you could have some fallout from that in the months ahead. But I think you look at the technicals. The technicals are so strong, and as you said, they are predominantly, I think, driven by that weaker dollar. But we do see that breakout above 32 figure. That is a key level early part of this year, and breaking through that really has opened, I think, the move higher. Now you could, as you say, project towards that. I mean, you got around about 205 pips, I think it is, if you do it to the pip of the upside projection of the rectangle breakout. And you'd say that anything around 30 figure is really key support now, I think, on cable, and how the market responds to a corrective move, or maybe even a dollar rally driven corrective move on cable will be important. But it looks, technically speaking, very strong on cable.
Yeah, agreed. Completely agree. So it kind of segues us across with that dollar weakness into the Aussie dollar breaking out, which I know you've been looking at.
Yeah, Aussie dollar. We had the RBA coming out last week, I think it was, with some pretty encouraging outlook really for the monetary policy, and that really has helped the Aussie to outperform. And certainly looking at Aussie versus Kiwi at the moment, a really strong performer. Aussie versus the dollar breaking out above 72.40, and that is a really important move because it really does again open the upside for the next leg higher. You've seen around about 180 pips of trading range that we've now broken through to the upside. You can now project that higher. That gives you a move above 74 figure as a projection target. And I think if you look at the strength through momentum, this is a really strong one. Since April, you haven't seen the RSI below 50, and that is a really important sign of strength that the uptrend is strong, the momentum is strong for breakouts. You continue to see the weakness bought into, and I think that is a theme that I think we're going to continue to see through Aussie. We've got the US dollar weakness, which obviously is a key feature of this, but the Aussie is picking up well. And even though you've got this background noise of the Aussie and the Chinese trade relations not doing all that well, Aussie still remains very strong.
Yeah, and I think the other thing to point out, I agree with that on the China side, but then also you've got this big outbreak in Victoria State, right? In Melbourne, Victoria State, real big lockdown going on there, and that's an important part of their economy. And the market's still kind of ignoring that, and just pushing higher for the Australian dollar. So I think that's, if a market that can go up in the face of, kind of negative news flow, shows how strong it is, and you say very supported by momentum.
Yeah, I think the Aussie dollar seems to be one of the ones that is outperforming on the major currencies at the moment. Less so certainly on the Kiwi, but Aussie, I think, is one to play to the long side still.
Sounds good.
Excellent. Thanks, Steve. Well, thanks a lot for the chat again, and we'll speak to you again next time.
Take care.